I think if you can rebalance your microbes, I would imagine the theory is you could actually positively impact the way your body behaves, and the way it is possible that you can retrain the whole and rebalance your microbes to do that.
Absolutely, yeah. I think if you can build up your gut microbiome from a poor state to a healthy state where you've got lots of diverse different species in there, all producing lots of different chemicals, what we call postbiotics, your immune system, your metabolism is optimized, you can then do things that you couldn't have done before. So you can have an excess fiber load without any problem. You can also eat the occasional processed food. You can have, the odd croissant and get away with it, because in a way you will be much more resilient to these shocks to the system if you've built up this really good base. So it's really important that people do that.
Looking at the gut microbiome as being central to your work, and it has been to my work for many years, I guess my approach to bread has been lifestyle medicine. To use it to avoid ultra processed foods, to be part of a community, to nourish. And one of the most important things, I know you go to Spain, you love, I've seen your Instagram, to eat socially, and the sequenced eating. And it was again you who mentioned this to me a long time ago. The way and the order in which you eat your food before you eat your bread, and then with your bread, that impacts the rate of assimilation of carbohydrate and the way your body responds to bread. Can I ask, how do you now eat your bread when you are socializing, and have you noticed that the sequence in which you eat your bread, or what you eat your bread with, makes an impact to your the impact of the bread on you?
There is evidence that the sequence of your meal is important, and basically now I've learned about myself is not to have my bread naked. And that means,
what a shame!
It means not that I need to put
ladies.
clothes on, but the bread itself has to be with something. So yeah, if I've got some particularly good bread I want to taste, I will add some balsamic vinegar or some other artisan vinegars, or particularly high quality virgin olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, dip it in the bread, taste it that way. Or I'd have it with some cheese, or if it, for a breakfast, it would be with avocado. So, and I think there is some evidence that people who do have some vinegar before eating bread have a lower peak than they would do if they just went straight to the bread. Now, I haven't done, that's my next set of experiments I'm going to do shortly, but I haven't tested myself on that theory, but it seems to be pretty consistent with many people.
Yeah, for me, right. Game changer, absolute game changer. And I think, knowing and seeing the impact of that, I would suspect that is one of the contributing factors towards the Mediterranean diet, a combination of oil and vinegar.
Which in the UK we don't have that culture of, just get given your bread on your empty plate and you nibble it while you're waiting for your first course, which is probably a very dangerous thing to do.
No, it's probably the opposite of what we should be doing, actually.
Yeah.
Tim, you've been a huge supporter over many years of my work. The 10-minute sourdough, you make your own sourdough at home now. Do you actually manage to do that? I did dedicate the book to you on the basis that I thought, well, if he doesn't make it now, I'm like at that point.
No, I do regularly make my sourdough, yes, and I've got a system down that I've sort of reduced everything to its basic bare minimum. Often using the same pot to do everything. And some things you may not approve of, but I've definitely got the time right down. So it is absolutely possible to do a 10-minute sourdough. I can absolutely tell people. As long as you're well organised and you can do things, exactly. You've got a job that you can nip down and quickly do things and nip back up and do another podcast. Then yes, absolutely. It does fit in, and I think. For many people it's much easier than they would have dreamt of. And once you get into that routine, it takes a little bit of time to get comfortable with all these things. So you know, I've stopped weighing and measuring actually.
No, that's fantastic. It means that you can literally be.
You can see it, and you say, okay, I need a bit more water.
Yeah.
You know, that's about right. That's fine. And yes, and that saves a lot of time once you start doing it by look and by feel.
No, it's certainly, and there's something really beautiful about getting that bread out of the oven and smelling the bread and having something that fills the whole house.
And I think yes, and it also, once you stop precisely weighing things, it becomes part of your personality in a way, because you're just saying, well, this is just me, you know, this is very much how I do it. I'm just, you know, putting a bit of mother in here and not worrying too much about you know, exactly what's going on, because I'm fairly sure that I know it's going to be pretty good. And doesn't mean I couldn't do it better. I'm not saying, you know, but I'm at all good, but I certainly make bread that, at least for me, is tasty.
In the book, you touched on fermentation itself being a bit of a game changer. You talked about kind of gluten degradation. You talked about the vinegar that the microbes produce. Do you feel that all bread should be fermented as we evolved in this way? We've only really not made fermented bread for 120 years. I mean, if you could wave a magic wand, would you say, right, everyone ferment your bread, it's a game changer? Is that something you would say to most people?
I think if you could do it for the same price as you would unfermented bread, and I had a magic wand to do that, and it was as easy, yes, definitely.
That's cool. Fantastic, Tim. Thank you so much. I have been recommending your books for as long as I can remember.
I hope you enjoyed this one.
I thoroughly enjoyed it, actually. I sat down to glance through it and ended up reading it, which is interesting for me, because I often read people's words and disagree with them. I'm afraid I couldn't find anything to disagree with in there.
Terrible.
So, there
I
you
can't
go.
have pushed it enough.
No. Thank you. And I'm just, on behalf of everyone who works with me at Sourdough School, Sourdough Club, your work, you may not necessarily see it, but on the ground, your writing, your information sharing has been a game changer for hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of people. I get to talk to a lot of those people, and I get to listen to the way that they have been empowered to take hold of their food, to understand themselves, and to make sensible decisions about the food that they're feeding themselves and their family. So I'm going to say, on behalf of everyone, and myself included, thank you for sharing this knowledge. Thank you for writing books. Thank you for being so, succinct and speaking with such clarity. I know everyone who would want to would say thank you for doing that, because it is amazing.
Well, it's been a great pleasure, and the journey's not finished. So,
No, not even slightly.
So hopefully, you know,
You're planning your next one.
there's always another one. That's right. Yeah, there's always more we can talk about.
For now, this one is the one that I think everyone should certainly be putting in their trolleys. Absolutely no shame in saying that Tim's books are the ones I recommend first to anyone who's going to make bread, because there's so much in there on every other aspect. So there you go, Tim.
There you go,
Top of my reading list.
Thank you very much.